didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. They told me what I needed to hear. They held me responsible for the things that I wanted to accomplish. And that was the glue that has kept me going. And to this day, I hold them in my heart. And if I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for those two people. So the support system in any exercise program is vital to any success in a workout program. The next thing, of course, is your nutrition. And this is where a lot of people think that exercise or dieting and weight loss is a complicated matter. It's not complicated at all. In my next book I wrote called In or Out, ? It talks about the mindset behind the foods and the preparation and the planning. I call them the 5 Ps, and we'll talk about that at a later time. But the nutrition portion of it is really not that hard. It is really a matter of in or out, calories in, calories out. But it also has to do with the perspectives of our foods, the patterns of our foods, the portion control of our foods. All this plays a vital role. And I knew nothing about this when I first started. I was this fat kid that was raised from a family that was from the South. We went by the way things tasted. We didn't care if it raised our blood pressure or our cholesterol levels or our BMI or whatever it was. We didn't care. We went by taste. So I had to learn all this stuff. I had to learn how to eat smart. I had to learn how to eat for fuel, not for necessity. And that's what we want to have the mindset of any exercise program, that eating is basically for fuel, not for necessity. The last thing, of course, is your exercise program. And we know pretty much what we need to do. We need to keep moving. But there's the one thing that I wanted to focus on as I was growing up into this field of exercise, was I wanted to work smart, not hard. But at the beginning, I thought more was better. And that was not the case. What you want to do is you want to work effective. You want everything to be as synergistic. And in my book called Just Move It, I talk about your exercise programs being synergistic versus just going through the motions. How to keep the motivation going between goals. A lot of people will set a goal and they'll reach it. And then they'll fall off the wagon because they didn't set the next goal in the first place. So those are the 5 things that are necessary in an exercise program. Now the personal side of this is that as I put all those together, they started building momentum. And my inside started to change as well as my outside. At the age of 16, when I first started this, I was a fat, introverted kid. And I think I've got some pictures here to show you. Now I'm not 16 here, but I was a fat little kid growing up in Holland, Michigan, where the old tulips are. And then at the age of 19, 20, I became this. Now, not everybody wants to look like the old muscle guy, everything, but not just my outsides had changed, but my insides had changed too. And that's where the title of my first book, Changing from the Inside Out, came in. And that's what I want to share with you today, is that your exercise program has to have these 6 things involved in them to do anything. 70,000 workout sessions later, 20-something years of averaging 5 days a week. A kid that had probably 35% body fat when he first started. And a gentleman now that's 45 years old that averages about less than 10% body fat on a day-to-day basis. A guy now that has self-discipline and self-esteem and self-worth and all that, coming from a kid that had nothing. And it all had to do with that I was changing from the inside out. I am not the same person that I was 20-something years ago, and you don't have to be either. I decided at a young age that I was going to have to do this. I was going to do this for the rest of my life. I didn't want to go back to that old kid. I don't want to go back to that old kid now. But as I changed from the inside out, everything started to click and click. So, as we continue on our exercise programs now, understand that these things are very vital. In all of my books, whether it's Changing from the Inside Out, Truth or Consequences, The A Factor, In or Out, Face to Face, Just Move It. Any one of those books you can get on our websites and get them at gregryanfitness.com or resolutionsblog.com or resolutions.bz. Any of these websites will give you some understanding of the concept of changing from the inside out. Thanks.